Let's find out what percentage it is. 12.5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anything below 17% should be refrigerated after it's open.
Well, shit.
Drink it anyway. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TorchFork Tuesday show, the show where we talk about liquor a lot, and we occasionally mention some games. I am your host, Steven, also known as Slave to Machine, who has gone under a weird ID change lately, so now I'm just Crane TFM, because I have some opinions about the thing that just happened in the U.S. this past week, and God help us all. I can now say President-elect Trump. If you're not drinking, please start. Start and don't finish.
I haven't stopped since last Tuesday.
Don't finish until 2020. Oh,
drink it.
we were following the election because it just so happened that the last show was on election night, and there was definitely a pall near the end of the evening. We had to pry Kellogg off the ceiling. It was just bad.
I'll never forgive Trump for the way I had to behave that night.
That's right. And we almost can get all of the markings off the floor as well. We're not really sure what some of those stains are, but anyway, we're going to get into what the show is about after the morning period. But first, let's go around the room and do the introductions. To my whatever direction he's in, probably far... For once, he's close to far right. Chris Kellogg, he is one of the fellas that is the reason we have TorchFork Mob in the first place. He is like the medium-high poobah, sort of, kind of. But he's got that
somewhere in the middle. Napoleon-sized.
Yeah,
we poobah. We don't have
he is
one.
a poobah. He can be the poobah.
I like that. It sounds nice. I'm not sure
but he's got that. He's got that fancy Nintendo setup behind him, so that's always good.
True. Can't spell Nintendo setup without poobah.
That is
something like that.
I can check all the letters, and I don't think any of that's true. Next up on the list, of course, Caitlin, who just recently stopped streaming and tried to stop streaming early, which was not what we wanted her to do. She streams primarily Pokemon because she has an addiction, and we will help her someday. But first, we want to use her for all that she's worth. She's recently doing Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, I think, and you're in yet another water temple.
I finished the water temple actually tonight. And I didn't hate it as much as the Shadow Temple. Shadow Temple just it like wrecked me from the inside. I think it hurt my soul.
That's what happens with those, actually.
Yeah, I saw a lot of rage there, but you stuck with it. And as much as you wanted,
just it incites rage. Everything about the game makes me angry.
I also kind of agree that I know a lot of people love Majora's Mask, and I know it's beloved and everything, but it is one of my least favorite Zelda games. I've played so many Zelda games that I like better than Majora's Mask.
I think it really depends on what it is that you like about Zelda.
Yeah. I like being the hero and wandering around the world and saving the world, and I like gathering the Triforce, and there's none of that shit here. It's in the same vein as Link, the Link's Awakening, but I liked Link's Awakening better.
I don't really know why. I mean, I was never a fan of Link's Awakening. I prefer Link to the Past. Hell, if I'm really, really drunk, maybe Adventures of Link. Because I think it was underrated.
If you really just give yourself a hard time.
What's that? Between Worlds was pretty good, though.
The last one I'm going to play, though, because it was the most recently done, I think. Anyway,
but you have a few to look forward to. I mean, Skyward Sword is excellent.
Yeah,
Wind Waker
I'd agree.
is also excellent.
Yeah.
So.
Isn't Twilight Princess the next one?
No. The next one after Majora's Mask.
Oh,
Wind Waker.
That would be Wind Waker, and then it would go Twilight Princess. And then,
wait, are we talking the timelines, or are we
No,
talking
we're
release?
just
Release by console only, not handheld too. Are we doing? Yeah, you were doing handheld as well.
By release in order of the Zelda releases, no matter the platform.
Okay, so did you do Oracle and Ages? Or Ages and Seasons?
We talked about this. That's the next one. And then after that is something else. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
So, but obviously, But obviously, she's just going to be marathoning the hell out of Zelda and, of course, more Pokemon.
I did marathon today, though. Like, I felt like I needed a break from 9 hours of Majora's Mask. I can't.
Everybody needs a break from that much Majora's Mask. I have to commend you on being able to stand Majora's Mask that long. Really?
Well, almost done. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm almost there. So.
Good. And then well, not finally, but next on the list, the man, the myth, the legend, the reason that alcohol sales are up this year, not because of a recent election. Eli with the game show on Thursdays, but Eli is our resident. That's not really correct, but for this show. So I appreciate him being here.
Do I do that?
You do.
Okay,
The more you drink, you stay totally silent for almost all the show, and then near the end, you bust out the most prophetic, most well-seasoned argument, unless Kellogg is talking about VR.
We'll get there, I'm sure.
Why not when Kellogg is talking about VR?
Shh. Save it for later.
Okay.
Cause reasons, Eli. Cause reasons.
Yeah.
Just check any of the VODs. You might see what I mean. But shut up, Rob. You couldn't be with us for 2 weeks straight. You are banished. We have a new you. Speaking of, the new you has no name. But all men must have a name. Unfortunately, this one does have a name. It's FNAF, which shares a name with my most hated video game franchise ever. But he is okay, because he owns damn near every Nintendo everything ever released. So, FNAF, thank you for joining us. Second week in a row, I think, actually.
Not a problem. I look forward to this.
It's obviously only been your second show. Otherwise, you wouldn't say that. But
I look forward to these shows, and I've been doing this for a while.
This is true, but let's get on to the topic at hand. So what's TorchFork Tuesday about? Well, what we do is we babble incessantly about games. We look at a bunch of trailers, and then we decide, do they suck? Do they not suck? And can we stretch this out to at least an hour? I think we should have no problem with that. So what's going to happen is we're going to run trailers, you're going to watch them, and then we're going to pretend to be interested. So with that in mind, we have a lovely little list of games that I totally did not look at right now.
Right on the ball, Steven.
No, I did look at it, but I wish I didn't, because a lot of them do indeed suck. In fact, Stylo, just before the show, said, I hope you have liquor, because, wow, it's bad. Paraphrasing, mind you. But anyway, the first one on the list is The Rake, Red Forest.
The Rake.
And so we're starting off with a feel-good game about Chernobyl.
Nice.
That's just great.
So I'm already seeing like a heat, some kind of heat device that you use, I imagine, to see what's radioactive.
Yep, that's what you're seeing.
Oh, man, you can run really fast in this game.
Well, you know, I would run through Chernobyl pretty damn fast too, wouldn't you?
I guess that depends on, the actual sievert levels you'd be getting, like in the areas you're going to.
Yeah,
Some areas are worse than others.
So far, it's like super dark.
Yeah, it's very dark. It's hard to see shit.
If that's not prophetic, I don't know what is.
Oh, look, there's some black nebulous objects that look like they're trees, kind of.
So, walking simulator with radiation is essentially what I'm catching from this. I have not seen anything yet. I don't think anybody has seen anything yet. Come to think.
I'm seeing shadows that vaguely form the shape of a building.
Wait, did it restart?
No, it's still going, I believe.
Oh, okay. I see a fence.
If you squint...
Wow.
This looks blue to me. Am I missing something?
It's very blue.
Yeah,
because
if we turn off all the lights, we might be able to see something.
Yeah,
okay,
I had
then you won't be able to see
brightest
us.
monitor on
There's a
full screen.
whole there's a whole lot of blue, I won't lie.
So, is this just like a blue simulator? Is this just like what it would be like to be completely lost in the dark?
I will say that the coloring of the stuff is probably accurate to how stuff actually looks at night. If you go out when it's fucking pitch black at night, anything...
now
Usually, like when I go out in the pitch black, I like bring a flashlight.
Wait, this is
Oh.
the third time I've seen
Okay.
this.
So you ascribe to the
Yeah,
Alan
it's
Wake
restarting the trailer.
the Alan Wake method of going out into the woods. Then
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
take a flashlight.
I do,
Uh,
but not the. I don't do that thing like in Doom, the Doom 3, where I can only hold the flashlight at a time. Like I make it so I can like duct tape my flashlight to whatever gun I've got. Too.
Oh no, that was just stupid. What kind of space marine is not going to be able to hold a gun plus a flashlight?
Yeah, what kind of space marine is given like some futuristic assault rifle that has 0 flashlights on it? Like,
Yeah, even modern day assault rifles have a rail on them that attach a fucking flashlight
Or
or
a
laser.
goddamn light on their helmet, man.
right,
Come
because
on.
he's in like a super suit. Like it doesn't come with a light.
I feel like the developers needed to crank the gamma on their trailer.
Kellogg. They're looking at, a super soldier is going to have super strength, super stamina, super, whatever.
Super
But come
night
on.
vision.
Do you think they're advanced enough to have a super flashlight?
Well,
Come on. Come on, man. Think critically.
Hey,
well, I don't know if you knew, but
can
for
we
Doom,
do a quick
Go ahead.
aside and say that I feel like Legend of Caitlyn is a perfect show title going forward for Caitlyn?
the Legend of Caitlyn.
Legend.
Yes. I mean, right there.
Your blooper clip inspired me. I'm using it, stealing it.
Nice. But
Well,
anyway,
I wish
go
I
ahead,
could say
Chris.
whether or not this game looked good or bad, because right now it just looks like a bunch of pitch black and like someone just like stumbled around in like a 3D forest and we're like, oh my god, it's all dark out here. It's so
So-
scary.
Shit to even know what this game is supposed to be like.
So
It
I
reminds
They call it the
me-
red. They call it the red forest, and it's all fucking blue.
Yeah,
Well,
it reminds me of the very
wait,
like
the
maybe
red
5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of the movie 2001, where it's just black.
yeah.
Also, it's self-described as an indie horror game. I mean, how many of those come out these days? How many?
Well, I hope it's got
About
VR
a
because
day.
my
At least
Vigo
2.
card needs
At
it
least
too.
2.
2 a minute. I think that's like the most overdone. It's like the World War II of indie developers. I don't know why they're all doing horror games, but let's.
It's
blame
almost like
that.
it's because they want to cut corners by not having to use any colors or more than one color at a time, maybe.
No,
Okay, so there's going to be some kind of jump scare coming. Someone purposely looped this like 10 times, and we're going to catch us off guard. And then
honestly, Stylo probably has the trailer on loop in the stream.
But I'm looking at the one on Steam.
But
It's
it's-
like pretty equally dark. Now the one on Steam
Yeah.
like shows you running around with like a gun and like a flashlight and like you do some stuff, but like it's not clear what any of this stuff leads to. It's like, okay, you've got a gun, you're running through a field, but not at any point does they show you an enemy or
Yeah.
another human being to interact with.
Also,
Or-
if
Oh shit!
if
Wait,
I,
that was a creature.
if I remember correctly, you can go through Chernobyl. There are tourist groups that actually go through there.
Yeah,
I don't
there
think
are.
any of them actually take fucking weaponry.
because there's
on
nothing
the
in
tour.
there. Everything's
No,
dying.
but actually, the groups that go through Chernobyl generally bring at least one gun with them because of wolves and bears and shit
Oh,
like that.
sure, but I don't think that. Well, I mean, everybody in
Yeah, so,
Russia
like,
pretty much has a gun.
Going to
near-
Chernobyl's like going on safari, not like going to a fucking.
No,
zombie
it's
apocalypse.
not like going on safari. It's more like going to fucking Yosemite. There are
Yeah.
bears there. People tend to carry a gun with them just in case a bear charges at them.
Yeah, but they're
So-
Russian. They just wrestle them. It's okay.
are they carrying rakes?
they're
Is that the
Putin,
whole
yes.
point of this game?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
I can
That's a good
see the
question.
different. I can see the different ideas where you're going to be using the different weapons and whatnot, but I'm highly disappointed. There's no rakes. Come on.
There are no
That's
rakes.
true.
You are entirely accurate.
Now,
It'd be funny if there was a TorchFork.
hang on. The Rake was a
Uh-huh.
horror game that came out like a year or two or something. So this is obviously supposed to be a follow-up to that for whatever reason they have stuck in Chernobyl and they're calling it the Red Forest because that's the location it's supposed to happen in. So really it should in some way be related to what happens in the Rake.
I actually feel like I would have rather seen the Rake because this description is amazing. Do ghosts exist? What about Bigfoot, chupacabras, Rake, or skinwalkers? Texas Skin Ranger. And how will we ever know? You play as Gordon Davis, a scientist, a traveler, and an explorer of unknown creatures and unusual events. So you're basically a cryptozoologist with weapons.
Wait, and you said your name is Gordon, right? Is that what it said? Like
Gordon.
Gordon Freeman.
Exactly.
So, did you not? Also, if you notice, the main character has like long fingernails, which I thought made me think it was a woman. But so is this a woman named Gordon, or is this Gordon just have very strangely long
Maybe
fingernails?
Gordon has some interests on the weekends.
Maybe
man.
her name is Gordette.
It could be Gordette.
Gordette,
Yes.
Gordette, free woman.
Or Gordelia.
Now we're getting into Gordos.
Yeah, now we're going way beyond, and we've got at least a bunch more.
Yeah.
All right, so
We tried our best,
obviously, Blue Velvet Simulator 2016, not interested. Next, the next game is called Fresh Body, and stop me if you've heard this one. It's a roguelike action game with a strange story and weird body system.
Is that really what it says?
Yes.
Or is that the description on the spreadsheet?
I'm not kidding you.
Nope.
It is. The
That's on
description.
the Steam page or the spreadsheet?
No, that's the spreadsheet. I prefer those descriptions because they make more sense. And then
No,
you
it's
go
actually
through
on
it.
the Steam page. It's taken. That's exactly what it says on the Steam page.
I will appreciate, however, that it says that the genre for this game is, and I quote from the Steam page, sexual content, nudity, violent, gore, action, adventure, indie, RPG, early access. So nudity is a genre now.
Oh, really?
Wait, it doesn't say that's user tags? Because usually
Nope.
that's listed under
That
user
is
tags.
legit.
Wait, how do
Title,
you see that?
Fresh
I don't
Body.
see nudity as a tag.
Scroll down on the Fresh Body Steam page and scroll down, and it says under the ESRB rating, below that is another box that says title, Fresh Body, genre. I'm not making it up.
I believe
It
you.
does say that.
I'm just bullshitted that I don't get to see the nudity tag.
Nudity
Oh,
tag.
it's
well,
not,
it's
it's
not
not
a tag.
listed as a tag.
The
It's not a
genre.
tag.
Get
They
it
have
now.
legitimately
Get it now.
listed it as a genre.
Oh wow!
So-
I'm now. I never thought I'd see the words on Steam browsing nudity.
Yeah, now browsing nudity. You clicked
okay,
it.
This
didn't
is
you?
what
wait
it's
a
become
minute.
on Steam. There's a nudity section, and there's
Yes, there
over
is.
21 pages of games.
Yeah,
And it's all
there's
anime.
also sexual content,
That's as close to porn as you're gonna get.
pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so that being said, the trailer, what even is? What even is?
What even is?
Discuss.
So,
Yeah, it's a lot like Zombies Ate My Neighbors,
I see that a bit.
but crappy.
Pretty much.
I don't really
That's a
know.
good-
Yeah, I
that's
don't
a
really
good-
understand what I'm supposed to get out of it.
Well, I'm sure that it makes more sense if you're actually not. If you're on meth, maybe this will make sense. I'm just not at that point.
Sorry, I'm too busy browsing nudity. Just kidding.
No,
I
you're not.
He's
I gotta
browsing
say,
all
the
that
graphics
sexual
are not-
content.
the graphics are not very pleasing. And
Like the graphics kind of look like the Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, or like the Plants vs Zombies graphics too.
Yeah.
Like it looks like I would even like. I mean, I
Okay,
guess
Plants
it's-
vs Zombies had a lot more of like a chibi anime kind of look to it.
Yeah,
This doesn't.
but but it's still some of the monsters have that feel. I don't know.
The
But-
character movements remind me of South Park. Like how
No,
they bounce
South
back
Park
and forth.
actually. I feel like South Park had better animation, even
Oh,
in their early
yeah.
days when it was cardboard construction paper. Excuse me.
Like the spirit of Christmas is essentially what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I love that episode. But well, actually, just the whole first season before they moved. What was it? Second season that they actually moved over to computer-generated graphics. I think it was.
The really interesting thing is that they actually switched over to Flash for their animations.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Later on in the series, they switched to, I think it was Maya, for like full-on 3D animations for stuff, which is weird for a 2D show. But yeah, like they started off with fucking construction paper cutouts, and they went to Flash, and then they went to Maya.
So for this game specifically, like it basically says that like your main character is composed of the body parts of your enemies, which is actually kind of interesting. Like some of the characters look pretty cool. Like, I'm starting to understand it now. Like you've got an inventory full of all these different body parts, and you kind of just like construct yourself and then go into battle, which is kind of a cool idea. I like that idea.
So in a way, it's like the disturbing gory version of something like Armored Core.
Yeah, but not very good. His Armored Core is good.
I'm not saying good. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's kind of like along the same lines. The idea of that.
There was an episode of Invader Zim that reminds me of this.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Like something.
Where he's collecting body parts, right?
Something Harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can't
but it's called
remember
Body Harvest, I think.
What Body Harvest?
I think it's legit called the episode for Zim. Yeah, where he has the where
I don't
he's
think it was called Body Harvest. I could be wrong, but I thought it was something. I thought it was like Grim Harvest or some shit.
It probably is, but I remember that because my favorite line is when Dib is asking him if he has a heart, and he says yes, 6 of them. So
Yeah. God damn it! I love that show.
everyone should.
Yeah.
In fact, if the only time you should not watch this show is when you're watching Invader Zim, I will accept that. Or if you're watching The Big Lebowski on repeat, because that is also acceptable.
And Jonan Vasquez, he really needs to get into doing another show. He just needs to find a network that won't be pricks to him.
Haha, that's great. I don't know if we're going to find such a thing like that.
Probably not, but still, it would be nice. His humor was amazing.
Yeah, I would normally recommend something like Adult Swim, but even they don't make any sense anymore.
Nah.
I'm sad about that.
I mean, they
All they
never
do is
really
play
did
Family
make
Guy on
sense. They like Adult Swim. They were extremely hit and miss. At random, they would put a show on that was amazing, and at the same time, they would have a bunch of shows that were just absolute shit.
I miss Moral Oral. I always got a kick out
Why?
of it.
That show is great.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was.
if you are someone that was raised in a predominantly Catholic or a highly religious area, the every single joke is a person you know, which makes the humor so much more personal. I think Kellogg's probably
it's humor that
What?
only applies to people raised in
That
over-
is right.
I never, I mean, I wasn't like raised in a super religious environment or anything, but I did know the show like Davy and Goliath.
Oh
which
yeah.
Yeah.
is basically like, then this is like a hilarious.
I
like,
liked the Davy
on
and
that,
Goliath. The
Yeah, well,
Davy
that's
and
what I-
Goliath jokes on Robot Chicken were so much better.
Yep.
I thought
Or,
Moral Oral,
Mad
but there's
TV.
some great Moral Oral episodes that are like, they're like pretty like brutal and hilarious. Like they like, I'll never forget. They actually legit like I think Moral like is like 10 or something, like maybe 11 or 12. Like,
Yeah.
and there's an episode
But
where he
Davey,
legit gets
I
addicted to
need
crack.
the blood of the innocents.
They just took a lot of risks with that show, and also it was claymation, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really I love good solid claymation. So
Yeah, it's true. There's like hardly anything anymore that isn't like 3D animated at this point, so it's nice to see.
Has
But
anyone
I think
seen
Robot
Kubo?
Chicken's still doing the old.
What's that?
Has
FNAF
anyone seen Kubo?
Kubo.
And the two strings?
Kubo.
Kubo and the
It
two
was-
strings?
It was playing at a theater near me. I loved the poster, never bothered to go in, so I feel like an
Okay.
asshole.
If you like your stop animation / claymation, you need to check that out. It's actually really good. It's a little slow to begin with, but give it a chance. You'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I will post a link there, and we're going to move on to the next one, which is called Zone 4. It has a release date of November 22nd. By the way, The Rake, Red Forest, is releasing sometime this month, if you want. And Fresh Body
What would it
has
be
a release
released
date on Steam. And Fresh Body has a release date of November 16th. So, if you're chomping at the bit for this, go for it. But
Yeah,
Zone
but-
4,
Okay, sorry.
November 22nd, the ultimate 3D fighting game.
Right off the bat, fuck you.
Ha ha.
My ass. I don't even care. I've seen this.
This kind of looks fun.
It might kind of look fun, but they are using some massive hyperbole describing their own game as the ultimate fighting game.
Yeah, but if they didn't, then they wouldn't fit in with the genre, because every fighting game claims it's ultimate. So I feel like
That's why
you're wrong.
nobody pays attention to that, and it's a
This
stupid
looks
market.
cool. Let's play it. It looks multiplayer too.
She's probably just disheartened that we haven't had a good one yet. And she hasn't. really
Okay,
said
and I'm looking at where they're actually showing the gameplay, and it looks kind of crap.
This isn't really a fighting game though, as much as like a beat 'em up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh man, they have 16 versus 16. That's pretty crazy.
Come on, that's awesome.
Dude,
Dude,
maybe.
come on, it's the ultimate 3D fighting online game. How can you say no to that?
Fighting game.
It looks an awful lot like if Gaia Online just went on a bender and decided to beat the shit out of all the avatars.
Yeah, I mean, there actually was a Gaia Online
It's-
MMO.
It's
That-
Virtua Fighter.
That could
Awesome.
not be what he was referring to at all.
And like just like they said, it says just we are doing our best. Please keep watching out for us.
When, as a developer, if you have to ask people to be nice, that's probably a bad sign.
Wow.
By the way, it's the center of economy, square, and enjoyable contents. Get PvE users, arcade.
Wow. That's
Now
so.
Hey
we're
man,
not
this runs
trying,
on a Pentium. This says
we're
it'll
not
run on a
try-
Pentium 4.
We're not trying to knock the broken English. The fact of the matter is, a lot of developers are overseas and whatnot. But I will knock.
That
I-
blonde girl in the trailer with the sunglasses reminds me of Purse Girl from Ruby with the minigun purse.
Oh, dude, I love Purse Girl.
Yeah, she reminds me of her a little bit.
Ruby is like my favorite. I just finished watching.
Oh
it.
no, have you been watching season 4? I'm like so pissed because
Have
this
you
weekend they went. Yeah.
I got to episode 6. I think, is there only 6 episodes for season 4?
No,
Right now?
season 4. Okay, season 4 split it into stupid World of Remnant episodes, which are all self-explanatory if you watch the regular episodes. And then there's only like 3 of the regular episodes. 4 was. I thought it was gonna come out this week, and then I was pissed because it didn't. And
Why does some of these characters look like they come out of the Tick?
Because they probably did. I don't think it would be that far to just presume that they kind of take liberties with some of their designs.
I guess, but it looked like some of them look like cartoony, like really, really weird versions of something like Deflator Mouse.
Would that really be surprising though?
I would like to see how
yeah,
customized
considering
this is.
the other stuff in the game.
Yeah.
I
Although
want to see how customizable this really is, because if you can pick your fighting style or create your own fighting style and
They
create your own
spelled
look,
Capoeira wrong.
yeah, I did notice that too. I didn't want to.
You know,
Yeah.
there's actually more than one character here that is starting to look familiar. In fact, 2 now look like they could fit into Ruby. They also have the bunny ears girl.
Huh.
That looks the one with the camera in Ruby. Looks like she's in
Yeah.
this game too. And the thing is, like, there's more than one other game I've seen that was just like a fan-made game, not something that people were selling, that borrowed like Ruby characters that they stole out of the original, like the Ruby game that got made. So those assets get passed around online quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Although
the Ruby game was fucking disappointing. Because like even now, it's still like they still just expect you to play the game and keep replaying the same fucking missions again and again and again. And it's like, oh my god, give me a reason to want to play after I fucking finish that shit.
Yeah.
Well, on the plus
after you
side,
said
it
that,
looks
I
like
didn't buy it.
this. It looks like this is actually going to be. It's listed as free to play, so that's got that going for it.
huh?
Oh, that's
But it doesn't. But it doesn't actually have. It has the release date. It might change. I have seen instances where a game will be listed as free to play, and then it actually gets released, and then it suddenly has a paywall or something like that. So
hey Stylo, if you I know you're listening, you can't respond, but Stylo does free to play Fridays, and I think this would be an interesting one to give a shot if that's something he wanted to do.
You know what? I also just noticed that in a different spot in this trailer, they spelled capoeira properly.
they
Capoeira.
probably just rendered it and thought, well, why not? We'll just go with it.
Apparently. Capoeira.
I guess we're gonna.
I want to make Castiel from Supernatural in this game now.
Why?
Because
I don't
it's
know.
got wings, man.
You can do the
'Cause I
wings
saw
and the
wings.
trench coat.
Okay, but question is, why are you going to play this?
It's free.
That's
agree.
not an excuse.
That's true. It's not an excuse, but it's a good one. But,
No,
but really,
it's
though,
not.
FNAF, what is your reasoning for wanting to do this?
I don't know. I mean, hey, it looks interesting. It's kind of a throwback to the old retro style Virtual Fighter, fighting vipers kind of thing. I don't know. Looks interesting. Hey,
Fighting
I'm
Vipers
gonna
is
give them a chance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you're gonna get your chance to give him a chance on the 22nd, so there's that. But any other thoughts before we move on to the next one? And yeah, any?
Nah. Let's
Okay.
move.
It is just that kind of night.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna take a.
Wow.
It's been a while since I've played Power Stone as well, Dreamy, so I can't really remember the style there.
Yeah, Well, if you want to play Power Stone, please just get Power Stone because it's amazing. The next game on the list is, again, get your bingo cards ready, folks. It is Campfire. The actual subtitle is "One of Us is the Killer."
Gee, I wonder what kind of asymmetric 4v1 type game this might be.
It is indeed a multiplayer game. You've got to bluff, accuse, and persuade others via voice chat. It is based
Wow.
on communication and logic. Observe others and their intentions.
Oh my god, this looks shitty.
Wait, what?
It looks
How do you?
cool.
But why
No,
is everyone
no,
floating
as-
while they're sitting?
Yeah, as you're looking around, your character's body is actually moving as you rotate the camera to look around. That is absolute
Doing
shit.
yoga.
Byron.
Don't move around.
It's chair pose. Come on, don't be.
That
Don't.
is
Try to do that.
absolute shit programming.
Chair pose. I can do that. Come on now.
Do it
The
right
question is,
now.
why would you want to?
Also, it
Do it-
looks like we
do it
fit
right
you as
now,
one of the
Caitlin.
characters.
I'm on camera. I can't.
Do it now. Otherwise, no proof.
For you people
These are, yeah.
today.
Wait a second.
There's
Kellogg
no
brings up a
chairs.
really good, legit statement. This is basically what Wii Fit trainers do on their off time.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
and one of them legit. You know, they're one of them that's got actually like looks like Wii Fit Trainer. Like one that has yoga pants. Like legit looks gray. Like,
In the trailer, it showed somebody getting killed by the player that was supposed to be the murderer in the thing. They fell over and died before the person even swung the axe. They are showing
They
that
were
it is
just being
absolute
very.
shit.
They were just being very, very polite, and they decided, I'm gonna die. I don't want you to sprain your wrist or anything by swinging that axe. I'm just gonna fall over first.
I like
you
this
can-
idea though. You got to admit the idea is pretty compelling. You know what this? I don't know
There's
why this.
Seems to do a better job of this though.
Well, you know what this reminds me of a little bit is there was a StarCraft map called the first person that moves loses. Or or something along the lines of the last person that doesn't move wins, something along those lines. And essentially each person is given like one little probe that has like one health, and they just send all these different enemies at you that try to fake you out to make you think you're gonna die, to try to make you move your character when you're not going to. But then at the end, like there's no more enemies come, and you actually just have to wait out the other people or try to like convince them to leave. And it was kind of like this funny psychological game about who could just last the longest. And like this reminds me of that kind of same, not that this is seeing who can last the longest, but it's like a psychological game in the sense you got to like figure out the other people you're playing against, and that's not super common. Like usually you just have to like shoot them or like get a higher score than them, but in this one you have to like actively talk to them and trick them with your mind.
I'm sorry, but to me this just looks like a lazy fucking programming. I would not want to play this shit.
I got to admit the programming does look
Sounds
bad.
neat.
Does look bad.
The point of the game sounds neat, and it kind of reminds me of Danganronpa, where you have to figure out who the killer is, and you have to talk about it. Like you're putting
So play that instead.
yeah, but this one is multiplayer. Danganronpa isn't. God.
There are other 4v1 multiplayer, one person is the murderer games.
Yeah,
There's
but
lots of them now. There have been like 6
Exactly.
that came out this year.
I don't know. I thought this looked cool.
I like the concept.
Every time I like something, Eli, you're just so mean.
Okay,
Oh.
I am normally supportive of the stuff that you want to play other than hidden object games. But
Hard to be
this,
supportive of that.
honestly, if you want to play something like this, play like Dead by Daylight, or play the Friday the 13th game that's
Yeah,
going to
but
be
those
coming
are
out.
all action-y slasher types. This one you actually have to talk, and it's a different type of game.
I agree.
Play
I like the
Town of
psychology behind
Salem.
this.
Play Town of Salem. You have to talk to everybody in that game and try and deduce things.
No,
These
you
are
have
real
do you
to
do
people,
it?
though.
but this is like real-time, real people. You're talking in voice chat.
Okay. Town of Salem requires you to type, but it has to be done in real time. You have a time limit on stuff.
Yeah, but
in
the
that game.
difference here,
I like this
here,
version. This looks cool.
the difference here, though, Eli, I think that everybody's trying to defend the concept simply because it requires. This is basically like a low rent D&D. This is like a low way to do it. This is kind of entry level to everybody sits and talks around, and they have to basically lie as best as they can in
That
voice,
is
because you can
fine.
type. Yeah, you can type something, but I think the thing that Caitlin's saying is that because you actually have to speak to people, you're only as good as you are a liar. So
That's fine, but there are
Yeah.
other games that do the same stuff in better quality.
Yeah,
Right.
but we're not
And-
looking at those games tonight, Eli. We're looking at this game tonight.
Yes, we're looking at this one, which is lower quality than other games that are available that do the same stuff.
This
I
feels to
don't
me
know.
like it was made in maybe 24, 48 hours, but the
Yeah.
concept is
It's a game jam.
the
Like a low
concept
quality.
is there. Like I like
Yeah.
the psychology in it where you can
What's
just
the
trick people.
price of this game?
the price of this
$1
phenomenal
million.
thing is non-existent right now.
Is
Seriously.
it free?
I don't know. It's listed as releasing tomorrow, so I guess we'll find out. But
I'm gonna
Okay.
buy it
now,
immediately.
If it's free, then absolutely
Watch it
play
be
this
20
game and have
Watch
fun
Eli,
with
it's
it.
gonna
You
win
will
Game of the Year. Just you
support
wait and
that.
see. Game of the Year.
If it's like $1, absolutely go for it. If it's $10, fuck no.
can I just say that you can do this exact thing in any MMO right now?
Yeah.
Or that you could probably do this in. I know we mentioned Second Life, but that's the only thing that looks better than the thing that we're looking at now.
And you could even
I
do
think
this in
Eli's got a
VR.
point. Yeah. I don't think you'd want to do it in VR because they're having a hard enough time with this. I don't know about VR. But-
Seriously, what the how can they not separate the camera from
Can I-
the character when you're turning to look?
Can I just say that I love the fact that it has local multiplayer?
Yeah.
But wouldn't that just be a game you could play in real life?
Excuse me.
Exactly.
Seriously. Especially considering that you don't actually get to watch the axe chop the
This-
person's head off.
This is
Because
a
they're
game,
already on the ground before you even swing.
This is a game of liar's dice minus the dice, basically. Who can pretend to be crazy the longest? And I would think that whoever wins this game, you should probably watch them very closely going forward.
Well,
I-
it's like it's part of the Jackbox Party Pack 3, right? Faking it.
That is true, but and I have not played Fake in it. But
I haven't either.
It's fun. It's tricky but fun.
Okay, we can't play faking it.
We can't do it on the stream.
So,
Yeah.
No.
because you have to be able to see each other.
Right, but if you're in the same room, like I played Faking It with my workmates, and it was really strange. Right at the beginning, I happened to be the faker, and I didn't say anything. I was just looking around, waiting for everyone to try to decide, keep quiet, and it was I got away with it, which was great until they finally figured out, oh yeah, you can talk to each other. So then, yeah, it was neat. So this is very much like it. Like with this, you can determine like your voice pitches to determine if you're lying. Very much like L.A. Noire, I guess. But you don't have so much the facial recognition.
The only thing about LA Noire is I never really felt that it made that much of a difference. To me,
What?
I didn't. He's talking about the bit about how the characters' faces and the facial movements and whatnot would matter. Obviously, that's not something that ever needs to be a thing here because no one's really got a face. They've got like a blur.
Right.
But
A
why
Wii Fit
do
face.
all the characters have an outline in this game? Why does everything have the comic outline?
Because they are all obviously Wii Fit trainers on a break. They're all hanging out
Apparently.
at Camp Crystal
Yeah.
Lake.
They're hanging out for a campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it just so
roasting some
happens-
marshmallows, sharing some ghost stories,
like-
but there's part somebody stabs somebody.
And it just so happens that one of them happens to be a killer on their off time. That's all. Everybody's got to have a hobby, you know?
And then
Pretty
they get
much.
hired, and they get to go on Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
Right.
That's right.
carrying a human skin lamp.
Yeah,
Hey.
just like the Villager.
It worked. It worked for Ed Gein. There's no reason it shouldn't work for
It
them.
did not work out for Ed Gein.
He got caught.
He got
Granted.
caught, but he'd only killed like one person.
Well, you know, you got to start somewhere, Eli. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, out of all the serial killers, Ed Gein did the least damage.
can't
You're
always
not really
get
a serial
one.
killer if you kill one person. That just makes you
I know, like seriously, he wasn't even really a serial killer. It's just people were so freaked out that he dug up dead bodies.
Which is crazy because that's the least worrisome thing that a killer can do.
I
really.
know, it's like
In
they're
the
already
moment.
dead. He can't hurt them.
He was a culinary master. He was trying to figure out the best recipes.
He was trying to find corpses of women that looked like his mother, basically.
Oh, that's
Which-
terrifying.
To be
It's
fair,
terrifying, but he wasn't real. Like, other than the person that he killed, which obviously he should have gone to prison for that. Absolutely.
I
But,
find it
but
funny we
the
have to
corpses
take
that he
that
dug up,
aside.
he wasn't actually hurting them because they were fucking dead already.
So this is a good campfire story.
Yeah, it is.
So I think Eli's the murderer.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, it'll be fine.
I have yet to kill anyone, thank you.
Yet is that
Yet.
operative term.
Yes.
If we see any more of these games, though, I might want to have my urge to kill Rising. Now.
Seriously, right?
Speaking of,
I'm excited for the next one though.
you should be because it's the only fucking ER game on this, VR game on this one. ER.
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 VRER?
Eeyore, yeah. The next
Eeyore
game
does
is called
not approve.
ERVR.
Overkill VR, which in itself is probably overkill. So Overkill VR. Wait, this is the Overkill. Overkill VR is a VR shooter. Take a shot. Based on cover system mechanics with tons of different customizable guns, more than 50 levels, giving you 40 plus hours of deadly fun time.
Is
Okay,
that one
that-
of those ones where you just stand in place and shoot things?
Probably.
Yep.
Most
You got it.
VR games are.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
It's a
yeah.
very popular VR genre. Although I will say two things about this one. One, it definitely looks more diverse in terms of like backgrounds and scenery and weaponry than most the standalone like VR games. And
It
the
looks
cover
such
system
shit
is
quality, though.
it's really not. The quality of the graphics are about as good as they can be for the VR resolution.
Oh, they can be better than this.
Not really. The resolution of the
I've
headset can't really show it off.
I have
Wait.
seen better quality than this in VR games, though.
Why-
No,
why
but
do
that-
I feel
not
like-
really. Maybe a little better. You're right. It can be a little better.
Chris,
But,
why do I
like-
feel like I've seen if you go to the Steam page right now, there's a generic protagonist face in the, I guess you want to say the title card or the logo,
Yeah.
but is that the Heavy Rain, or not the Heavy Rain, is that the Hard Reset logo with Overkill VR's name on it?
I don't know.
I feel like I've seen that image before.
Oh yeah, the Hard Reset Extended Edition. Looking a little similar there, but not
Yeah.
quite. But yeah, I mean, how many games are there with like some like dude with a really intense grimace and
Yeah.
some like backdrop of urban decay with big capital letters. I mean, it's very common.
Are
But-
those the Vive controllers?
That does look extremely
Yeah,
similar, though.
This is a Vive only game, which is and those are the Vive controllers, which are pretty sweet. They're around here somewhere. Wait,
Huh.
sorry, what were you about to ask?
No, I'm just wondering how you would actually play with them per se. Like, are they just in gun style or?
So you hold them. They have triggers on them.
Okay.
Right here and here. And so, and it actually is quite natural. I've played a bunch of gun games, and using them as guns is really natural. You basically, when you're in the game, like you just see two guns free floating in front of you, and they react instantly. And the tracking is very accurate. So like when you move just a little to the left or a little to the right, even like a quarter or less than a quarter of an inch, it can notice that.
Okay, but oh my god, the 3D models are so low poly. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're not like super great. Yeah, but
it kind of reminds me of PlayStation 2 Wii level almost.
Yeah, what you have to remember though is like with VR, they're probably trying to produce a type of game that can run on more systems. Like this is a game that would probably run pretty well, like a 970, whereas a lot of VR games
970 isn't even officially supported by newer VR headsets.
Well, I mean, I used it no problem. It does work fine. It's just not like ideal. The newer cards have more like improvements for VR. But one of the reasons why they use lower resolutions is because it works better with the shittier graphics cards for VR.
I guess, but like I'm not even talking about the resolution. I'm talking about the quality of the models. You can see very sharp edges on them where like a shape that is supposed to be somewhat circular is a hexagon very clearly.
I don't know though. Like I don't want to knock a game. Like if a game like if you take the images as a whole, like I don't like knocking a game exclusively for having shitty graphics. The last one we looked at had shitty graphics and shitty design, just kind of shitty everything. But
okay, but I shit on that one.
This one actually is like pretty well. This is like a pretty consistent image. Like there's detail. Like there's good weather effects. Like generally, and I think the textures look good and crisp generally. Like I think the graphics on this are like not terrible.
Okay, the
you're an elitist, Eli. You're an elitist.
No, it's not.
I don't blame him on this one though.
It's not even being elitist. Like they're trying to go for a look that'll be immersive to you, but when you have textures that look like they're pulled out of worms in some of the shots, and then you've got models where you can clearly see edges of the lines defining the shape of the object that you're looking at, to where you know it's a 3D model that was done in low quality, that kind of breaks immersion a little bit.
I mean, this is about the highest resolution that most headsets
it's not even
support.
Resolution. Like in the trailer, the resolution is high enough that if they had higher quality models in there, you would see the difference. But they have lower quality models.
It's looking. I'm not saying you're entirely wrong. I just think you're giving it a hard time for an indie title. I think it passes muster.
I'm saying that the shapes on the models you can see definite.
I'm not disagreeing with you. There's no disagreement here. I just think it's good enough. I think it's good enough. I think it would look good in VR.
Just saying, it's not a resolution issue. It's the actual like models that they have built in 3D. They're trying to keep the polygon count down, not the pixel count.
What did I say at the top of the show?
That we're assholes?
Yes, that we are indeed. I just, it seems to me that there's enough, Kellogg, you might be able to answer this one. Aren't there enough friggin' stand and shoot games already out there for the Vive? Do we need another Brown Simulator 20?
No, there's definitely a lot of them.
Bring me my brown pants.
And like the thing that's interesting too though is like they're really only available on Vive. They're not even really available. Like you can play a lot of them on a PC. On a PC with like Oculus Rift. But without the Vive controllers, they're almost like most of the fun is lost.
I can't wait until you have like that round treadmill and it's a run and shoot game. Like that'll be freaking sweet. I can't wait till I can actually do all of my treadmill running in the gym while playing a game.
Just in virtual reality. Well, you can honestly you can get a pretty serious workout with some of the Vive games now. Like if you look at a game called Audio Shield, when you turn it to its hardest setting, like your heart, you literally cannot play more than 2 rounds until you are sweating. Your heart is like you're out of breath, just completely out of breath. So you can definitely get there.
No, I really want to like feel that forward. Like if I ever get VR, it will be in a moment when I can feel like forward motion and movement within a 3D game. And I think
the thing is though, like you can have that in this.
Happen, yeah, soon.
There is a product out there that is the 3-dimension or the 360 treadmill. I just can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
No,
no, there's a few. There's two of them.
Something like that is within the next 15 years, like where it will be
Well,
mass-produced.
they've already got one. It's just that nobody is buying it because it's a big thing that you have to have a bunch of room for.
Well, no, there's only two available, and one of them is based on friction. It's just not very good, and the other one is not fast enough for you to run.
This is just a market that's very new for that sort of thing. So I can wait. I can wait another 10 years. I'm okay.
But I would not like what is more likely to happen is that you'll have a chance to play VR in like a basketball arena or something. Like you'll just have a very large physical space to play VR. That is much more likely.
That would be a lot like laser tag, to be honest. A lot more.
Yeah, well, that's what that thing in Utah is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
The Void. That's what they've invented. This already is in existence. You can go play the Void in Salt Lake City, which is essentially like what you said, Caitlin. It's like an indoor arena, like laser tag in the sense that there's like artificial walls and things, but you're in VR the entire time and you walk around all these different actual hallways rather than virtual hallways. But the thing is with the Vive, with the room scale, I can walk clearly from one side of my room to the other in virtual reality, and that translates into the game. And then many games have implemented sort of a hopping mechanism where you hop from a 15 square foot area to another one. So you can always walk around your environment. You're always able to do that. But you're right in the sense of like exercise. There's some good stationary exercise where you can do a lot of aerobic types workouts, I would say, is what you're ending up with in the end.
It would be neat, actually, if you could get on your actual treadmill and it would actually register the movement as forward movement and you change direction by moving your head. Like, it would be interesting if you could actually do a fitness routine in a game.
You would have a lot of nausea
yeah.
on that, though.
Can I interrupt you guys real quick to say, Rob, your porn games are not what we're talking about.
Are you sure?
Seriously.
There's also a great number of those. I was actually
a question for you.
Oh, go ahead.
So if I were to purchase a VR unit and go like full out,
yep.
Which one would you recommend? The HTC Vive, the Oculus Rift, the PlayStation VR?
Yeah, definitely the Vive. I've had the chance to. I've actually owned a DK2 previously, and I've sold that. And I've not had the chance to use the PlayStation VR yet, but I know what it's capable of, I suppose, relative to the Vive. And the Vive has much better specs than PlayStation VR. And the Vive also has more games and better controls, and has the room scale really does add that extra level of immersion over the Oculus. And I had troubles with motion sickness with Oculus, and I don't get motion sick. And the Vive virtually eliminated that. So I can't recommend the Vive enough. Also, it has completely seamless Steam integration. Like, that is huge. Like, you can purchase games in Vive, in VR, and launch them in VR, which is not something, as far as I know, not something you can do in Oculus Rift.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can just be in there, never have to leave, and get access to everything that's available to you.
So we're getting into the same aspects of like Ready Player One almost with Oasis.
I wouldn't go so far, because at the end of the day, like, you can't really spend more than like people have spent ridiculous amount of times in VR, and I fear for them. I think the technology's got a long way to go, and frankly, you'll get tired. Like, like, good luck spending 8 hours on your feet, because no gamer really realistically can do that without like exercise. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna get exercise, which is good, but at the same time, like, when you're eventually like gonna just like stop being able to play, because you're gonna stop being able to stand. And you'll get tired. Like, you'll just get tired. Your eyes will get tired. Your whole face will get tired. It's not like the most comfortable experience.
Yeah, I should know. I actually have a Virtual Boy. Okay, so what's next?
Yeah, but there's less possibility of being permanently scarred, much like the Virtual Boy. But
kind of liked it when my arms, legs, back of my neck all went numb all at once. I thought that was a good thing.
Look, I love a system. I love a system that has more warning labels than a job at a nuclear power plant. That's always a great sign.
You know,
of
little
good-
known fact
Yes.
about the Virtual Boy is that the original design was supposed to be a head-mounted set,
Yeah,
the
that would have
Oculus.
been well.
It was supposed to be strapped to your head, and it was eventually decided, actually pretty close to the end of its close to its release, that no one would be willing to wear that on their head, and so they put the stand on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally not wear that. That sucker was kind of heavy. I would.
I
not
know, there'd
have
be a
that
lot
on.
on your face.
But
And
the trick trying to find the most comfortable position for it was the challenge.
In a box is usually the best option.
on a totally unrelated topic, Chris, can I say that I still find it funny that you keep pointing the tip of your microphone at you?
Is it
The side,
this?
the side with the button on it that lights up is what should be pointed towards you.
I'm moving around. I sometimes like to be over here, you know, and sometimes I like to be over here. You know, I just move. You know, but you can all still hear me. That's what counts, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just that when you're using the tip of the microphone for yourself, as you move, your volume changes.
It's okay. I just like to keep Stylo on his toes, and he can.
None of you
he
wanna
can
make
fix
a
it all in editing, right, Stylo? I mean, I know
Yeah.
you go in and individually modify every single one of my.
Everything gets
audios.
edited. At the end of the day, I was wondering why your voice suddenly turned into like Harvey Keitel for every single show.
Is this better?
Harvey Keitel as the devil was amazing.
I guess. Well, Harvey Keitel is the devil, so you know. there's
Pretty
that.
much.
He's great though. Almost as good as Lou Reed doing the devil, but you know, whatever. But anyway, we have 3 more to go, and they're not getting any better, folks, because now we get to talk about shrooms.
Oh,
Yay.
Yes, those kinds of shrooms. Aw, Stylo even put that in the notes. Not those kinds of shrooms, Steven. Thank you, Stylo. The game is called Mushroom Wars 2, which makes me think, oh god, there was a 1? Yes,
Yeah.
the game is called Mushroom Wars. Take a look.
It's got to be 3D. It's got to be 3D.
No, there's no 3D. You would
Especially
think.
not since it's on PS3.
Yeah, you would think, but no. This is Mushroom Wars.
Why do the characters look like cats when this is called Mushroom Wars?
Maybe they started like cats. Maybe they were cats originally. You never know. This is also, by the way, not surprising to anyone, this is also on the iTunes App Store.
Gee, who would have thought?
So you know. Yeah. Okay,
I am disappointed.
No words.
let's go with the most optimistic of this group that's not paying attention to the show.
No.
So obviously we're gonna start with Caitlin, if she's still with us mentally, physically.
Yes, I am.
Your thoughts about this thing?
This is just a mobile game, isn't it?
Much.
Then why is it greenlit and why should I care? I'm looking at it, I just see a long string of today we're proudly announcing. And I see, what? No, I don't care. This is stupid. Yeah.
Oh,
Now-
now we're finally getting to see the upgraded version of Mushroom Wars.
I'm
Glorious
glad to
journey of mighty heroes.
see we can finally find something we all agree on. FNAF, your thoughts on whatever the flying fuck this is?
Man, like, who invests in these games?
I'm wondering.
There's no. It's like Toad from Super Mario. There's.
That's why I called on you. I knew you'd make that reference.
I'm just wondering when they're showing like the battle maps and you see the arrows where all of the troops or whatever the fuck you call them in this game are going. Why does it keep flickering all over the fucking place?
Yeah, it looks like
Because they-
Toad and Pikmin had a child and just kind of spewed all over the screen.
Well, yeah. I think the spewing is probably what caused the child in the first place.
So
Yeah,
I can't tell if this game is like actually like super deep and amazing and like could be super addictive or actually makes no fucking sense. Like,
It looks like it makes no fucking.
but if they made a sequel, then the first one was probably
That
had
is-
some.
No,
That
is not a basis. Like, seriously, mobile developers have kept rehashing the same trashy shit over and over and over before.
Okay, so Mushroom Wars 1 got very positive reviews from 100 people. From 100.
That's on a mobile thing though.
It's on Steam
Is
On
it?
Steam.
for $10. Look,
But for
Look.
$10
I knew that would do it. Yeah,
Yes.
no, it is available. Smart
That's
strategy
the
meets
Mushroom
furious action. in epic
$10?
Wait a
PvP,
minute.
PvE.
So this isn't Mushroom Wars 2. It's just Mushroom Wars 2.0. Because
Yeah,
it's just Mushroom Wars again.
yeah.
It is Mushroom Wars redo. Yeah.
Make Mushroom
that's
Wars great again.
$10 for fucking $10. You can get way better games than this.
Honestly, I feel like I understand the kind of game this is. I've played games similar to it, and like I think I'd probably enjoy this. But the truth is, you're all right about one thing. It's definitely a mobile game. Definitely a mobile game.
These are
And
the
also,
games.
as far as I can tell, Mushroom Wars 1 and Mushroom Wars 2 are identical.
Yeah. So far, I can. This is one of those games where I basically just
Okay,
want
that shot
to
was cool.
immediately power down my laptop and just walk away, like while the show's still going. Because why? Absolutely why? I'm not the kind of person that says mobile games should never be on Steam.
I
But
love
I
how
am
one
the
of its
kind
awards is an 82 out of 100 on Metacritic. You get an award for getting an 82 on Metacritic?
Well, see, here's the thing
For a
about that.
low
I'm pretty
For
sure.
fucking B minus.
I
Yeah.
like to think that games like this get a high rating on Steam, not because they're quality, but because Steam is pretty much run by trolls. I'm convinced that's the reason why a game like this would probably have such a high rating. Now,
Can we go on to the next fucking game?
I think we probably should, but esports minded, oh my fucking
I know,
God.
that shit cracks me up. It says that as a big title.
No.
Esports minded.
This cannot be an
Can
esports
you see this?
game.
Can you see this
is
shit
fucking
being
stupid
pushed?
for esports.
Can you see this being pushed by Major League Gaming? Because I know I can.
What about
No.
E4I, man? They'd be all over this.
Oh, if that's even
Oh
still
my-
a thing.
Fucking
Feel bad.
God.
Feel bad just saying it.
E for I. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh.
Of course,
Ugh.
go on E4I because nobody gives a shit about that.
Yeah, basically. Not that we're taking pot shots or anything at that.
No. But to be fair, like it is that kind of like funny mentality where it's just like, oh, we make like esports is a thing. We're just gonna make a game and slap the word esports on the side, whoosh, and hope that people think it's for competitive use. You know, like I don't look at this game and see competition at all. You know.
Oh God.
Top 25 on the PSN network or the PS network. Really? Like top
Fuck.
25.
Fuck.
So 25 out of 25. And
All
it was
that
only for
tells
one
me-
day.
There's 24
All
other
the-
games that were involved in the.
All that tells me is that the people downloading games on the PlayStation Network are bored out of their fucking minds and have nothing to do.
Yeah, when you could just play Catherine a lot, and
Wait
a
that's
minute.
way better than this.
Did you get
Okay,
6.5 million downloads between the App Store, iPhone App Store, and Google Play though? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So
but
they
I also
probably
have no faith
downloaded
in
it.
When you
humanity.
consider how many fucking phones are out there.
Yeah.
They probably downloaded under false pretenses. They're thinking Mushroom Wars, man, dude, sweet. And
They're
downloaded
thinking,
it,
oh my
realized,
God, I can give them a mushroom tattoo.
yeah.
Look at all
Oh,
those
boy.
shiny graphics, so shiny.
That's what it really is. It's just
All done in After Effects, of course.
lots of lens flares, lots of shiny moving things, and that's all you really need to do in order to get a really good, successful app. It doesn't. I do like some of the character models, but none of that makes a
Seen
bit
them
of a
before.
difference. You know,
Yeah.
when you look at the actual gameplay, it's just bouncing around. That's all it is.
All this tells me is I need to start making fucking mobile games.
That is right. You need
Just
to.
the phrase esports minded. You just want to go whoever wrote
That
that.
is
You're
some
just gonna, you
serious
just want to
fucking
strangle them.
bullshit.
Who
That
writes
is
the
some
phrase esports
bullshit.
minded?
People that are looking for investors, and you know what the sad part is? It will sell. It will totally sell. It will get
Fucking
back in.
God, you know, I
Bullshit,
really need to
though.
take up Adobe After Effects because clearly that's what sells games more than the
Yeah.
game itself.
I know that.
But to see in a trailer the phrase esports minded, I totally agree. That is not something you shouldn't have to tell people, hey, this would be great as an esport. You shouldn't have to. Either they pick it up.
They're not even saying that. They're saying esports minded.
But that's
As like a subliminal suggestion to their
Exactly.
players that, hey, this is super competitive. Maybe you should get into it as a
And
thing,
that's the thing
so
about
that
it.
you and your friends can try and best each other all the time. We're not necessarily saying that we're going to be an esport, but you know,
Oh,
maybe
yes, they are.
So maybe
If-
you should take a super.
If we
serious-
can live in a world where curling is an Olympic sport, why can't we have more mobile games be esports games?
Honestly, curling makes for a way fucking better sport than this shit.
Nope. The sport of janitors and champions will not be counted in this.
But Eli, have you tried virtual curling?
No, I have not, and I don't care.
Ah.
I would rather watch curling than this.
VR
rather
curling.
I
VR
would
curling.
rather-
VR curling.
I would rather be watching wallpaper actually curl than curling, and in by proxy, watching this game being played. Although I would love to watch it being played just so that I can hear the esports commentators sounding super excited about the shit that's going on.
There's
When
another
it's so
mushroom dead.
fucking boring.
Another mushroom dead.
Yeah.
Oh god, another mushroom dead.
Oh my god, there's 3 more mushroom guys dead and 17,000
I just
we're
wanna
moving
hear
over to the other
people-
base. They're not gonna make it. They're not gonna make it. Oh my god, they didn't make it over to the base. Nobody expected that.
I just want to hear someone refer to the meta game of Mushroom Wars. I want to hear that phrase used at least 5 times a minute
The
in
meta
an
game.
esports game. Yeah.
Dude, it's the mushroom meta. Dude, the mushroom meta game is reality. Okay.
God help us all. We're gonna move on to the next one.
Rob knows what I'm talking about.
He probably does. We've got 2 more
Uh,
games. One of them is going to be a severe disappointment, possibly. The other one is the last game.
I can assure you the next one, though, is going to be awesome.
I am glad that I added extra whiskey to this fucking drink.
I think we are all glad of that. So the next game is Diluvion.
Diluvion?
Diluvion.
So I may have already watched the trailer just now because I kind of couldn't help myself.
You prick. But
I
anyway.
know.
go ahead.
But
You sound
I
kinda
gotta
drunk,
say,
Kellogg.
what's that?
You sound kind of drunk, Kellogg.
I sound
You know, he
drunk?
sounds like
I'm really
Kellogg.
not. I haven't had that
Really?
much.
Yeah, that's just his usual Kellogg self.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just always drunk. But no,
Hang on. Your point.
this looks sweet though. Not only is there like some pretty amazing looking like underwater submarine combat, which is not a phrase you frequently hear. There's it also has this like sweet 2-dimensional like interior like control of your like submarine, the ship itself. So there's like both a 2-dimensional RPG within your submarine and an awesome action-based, like beautiful looking underwater 3D like action game, kind of in the vein, looks like maybe a little bit of like Star Fox when you take control of the blue. I think it's the Blue Marine.
Blue Marine.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that, which is a good thing because that's one of the most fun parts of that game.
And you only get to do it for
this looks
2
fucking
missions.
Sick.
Wait,
I'm like
it's just
blown
one
away
mission,
by all of
isn't
this.
it? You only get
Sorry,
the Blue
what's
Marine
that?
in one. You only get
Yeah.
the Blue Marine in 1 mission. Which
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it was kind of fun. That game was interesting like that.
Oh,
That-
yeah, okay. Definitely
Yeah.
see it now.
And I gotta say, overall, this looks like a really, really well made and really unique game.
and of course, that's why we save it for just about the tail end of the show.
Yeah, thank God there's something
Is
to
this
live
his
for the
tail
gaming.
end?
I gotta say, I really
Oh,
do like
shit.
what I'm seeing here. Yeah. The other game that they've done. What's that?
It looks really neat. Like,
Yeah. The other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only problem is it's all a water level.
True.
Yeah, but there's no keys or anything from the looks of it. So the other game that they've done is actually a pretty good little, I want to call it a platformer. I'm not really sure. It's called Ballpoint Universe, which you can also check out on Steam for the rockin' price of like $3.99. So $4. Pretty good. But
looks good.
yeah.
Looks neat.
Yeah, it looks like this. It looks like they haven't really done anything in a while. It looks like so 2013 is when Ballpoint was released, and now here we are, fall 2016. So maybe one of those indie devs that disappear for a bit. Who knows?
Well, this looks like it took a lot of work, though. I mean, I could see that maybe it took them 3 years to put this together.
Yeah, I would say so.
And yeah, I mean, you gotta hand it to them, though. I mean, it's gorgeous looking, and it's not that often you see like this really almost seamless change between like really advanced 3D graphics and then like pretty detailed two-dimensional, what appear to be almost hand-drawn graphics. That kind of like that sort of dichotomy there is kind of awesome and it's super rare, I think. I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. This one just went on the oh wait, they let me add it to my list. Can I not add it to my list until it's released?
You're not allowed, apparently.
Guess not. Oh no, it's because I'm on the website and not logged into Steam. That's why.
Yeah, you'd have to actually log into the website to be able to add anything to your wish list. But if you look it up on Steam, though, it should do it straight away.
Yeah. But I'm all for this game.
Caitlin, you've been relatively quiet. You're probably doing Pokemon stuffs.
No, I'm not actually.
She's-
This, I'm talking to Gary.
I don't believe you,
that's
Caitlin.
acceptable.
I do not believe you. You're always
Both
Pokemon.
my DSs are closed. See?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm sure she's got a DS hooked up in the back somewhere.
She's
I
actually.
have two of them now. I could be playing both Pokemon games at once at all times now.
That is
Oh,
Sorry.
you're mad impressive.
Yeah.
No, she probably sees the Pokemon game. When she blinks, she sees it for like a tenth of a second. So maybe she's playing it that way.
That would be great. I wish that I could actually just jack games right up into my brain. That would be awesome.
Just start playing.
Yeah, because then I could play them with my eyes closed if I had a headache. Like, I could just lay down and it would just be nice. You could have a video game experience. But anyway.
Now, your thoughts on
I
this?
think this looks really beautiful. I'm surprised at how much detail and effort they've put into it. And I've never shot underwater. I think it could be really fun. I am concerned, though, that it's really just shooting other submarines. I'm hoping that it actually leans more towards the undersea exploration angle. And I hope that there's a story to it as well.
As long as we don't hear do a barrel roll, I think this will be good.
Yeah.
Do a barrel roll.
Well, why would we not
Barrel.
want to hear? That's my ringtone, though. So why would I not want to hear "do a barrel roll"?
No.
I mean, it's not the right term, but still, still.
Yeah, isn't it an avion roll or something then?
Aileron.
Aileron, yeah.
My uncle was watching that video and he said, "That's not fucking right." When he said, because he is a pilot and he was watching actually Star Fox 64 way back when. He said, "That's not what that is." And then he was finally redeemed when I think it was the Game Theory guys. They came out with a video explaining it, and he was like sharing it all over his Facebook. I blocked it. But still,
You gotta love people when they're not really into games, but they're so technical that they have to stop and correct the games.
well, it's still an accurate statement. I mean, how much simulation accuracy are you going to get in a game about animal pilots fighting in space?
Pretty much.
Yeah. But anyway, this game looks awesome. I think there's no other question about that. Thank you, Stylo, for giving us such fucking shit to start with and then leading us up to this.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. But that's not all. We have the very last one of the evening.
Oh boy.
I feel like I might be the only one that gives a damn, but yeah, it's Watch Dogs 2.
Oh,
I have gone on record many times to say that Watch Dogs was not that bad. and I will still stand by that. I've even worn a Watch Dogs shirt on stream before, and on one of these shows before.
I liked it.
I was a big fan of it. Everybody said that Aiden Pierce was a lazy protagonist, which it is, and that Chicago was not enjoyable, which that's not true. They said that the mechanics for shooting and driving sucked, which they did, but other than that, and the hacking mechanics were shallow as a wading pool, which it is.
So what's the good part?
Supposedly, the good part of the original game, I really had a lot of fun just answering calls, doing the vigilante thing, going to the scene of a crime, preventing the crime, like some weak, poor version of Batman. I had a lot of fun just driving around Chicago a lot of times, and just turning on the radio and going. But Watch Dogs 2, supposedly, if reviews can be believed, and hype can be believed, supposedly Watch Dogs 2 is much more deep, much more enjoyable, according to some reviewers, than the first game was. So this might be a rare instance where the first game sucked, but the sequel might make up for it. I think Two Worlds 2 was the only one that comes to mind.
Can I just say these animations are absolute shit?
Of course they are.
Stop saying everything's shit.
Ubisoft
No, seriously, the animations in this are absolute shit.
It's that weird Uncanny Valley thing. I can't...
No, it's not even the Uncanny Valley thing.
Really?
Like, there's so much stuff that they have the characters doing where it's like, okay, that is weird and disjointed and just looks fucking stupid. Why are they doing that?
Just like the character models and how
the character models are good. The texturing is good. The normal maps and all the like lighting and shading and stuff on characters is good. I'm saying the animations specifically are fucking weird and stupid.
Yeah. I actually do have to agree a little bit on that. The animations in every game, I don't think you're ever really going to get to the point where we have, well, not anytime soon, fully believable, lifelike motions. You're always going to have that weird, disjointed thing going on. And I really hope that someday we get past that, because otherwise I feel like a lot of good games are kind of, maligned because their characters move like robots. Because that's kind of what they are.
Has anyone seen Doctor Strange yet?
Not
I haven't.
Me personally, no.
Okay. How about Avengers or Avengers Age of Ultron?
I saw the first Avengers.
Okay. So, when you can totally tell, like, Marvel doesn't have it down yet, where the animations, you can totally tell when they're computer animated versus when they're actually physical.
Okay, I have to say, I've done 3D modeling and animation. I've done some work on game development, so I see that stuff pretty fucking easily.
Right. Now, that when you see that kind of stuff, it brings everything to a major halt, and it takes you out of the experience. If they can somehow get over that, I know it's the Uncanny Valley, and they're gonna have to spend a lot of money to get around it. But once we get to that point, movies and games are just gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah, at some point, but.
The entire idea of the Uncanny Valley, though, is that you can have something look ultra realistic to where it is within like 0.05% of being exactly the same as filming someone actually doing the thing. But that tiny little bit of data in what you're seeing in the video, it just triggers people's brains in such a way that they instantly know that it is completely fake, because they can recognize that tiny little bit of data in the video that says that it was not done by an actual person. The thing is, as we approach the Uncanny Valley in there, it becomes exponentially more obvious to our brains. Because, tiny little things make it so much more obvious. The human brain can withstand something that is cartoony and weird if the general flair of it is relatively realistic and can go right along with it. But when it looks like it's a fucking person, but there's some tiny little thing that's off, it fucks with our brains to the point that we just freak out about it.
But what happens when they get over that piece?
That's
if they throw
be,
enough time and enough money at it,
that is going to be a while, because the problem is that the people making that stuff don't acknowledge those tiny little pieces of things that make it obvious that it's fake.
Right, but when you get to those perfectionists, like I'm assuming, I'm going to go on a limb here, Eli, you're a bit of a perfectionist, I'm guessing? Maybe?
In some respects, yes, but I'm just saying, even the perfectionists...
He's more of an opinionist.
Even the perfectionist...
I like that.
Well, there are certain things that I'm a perfectionist about, but even perfectionists have things that they will overlook. And they will do it knowingly because they feel like it's not necessary, regardless of how much a perfectionist they are. It's just human nature.
I'm gonna jump on the hype train a little here, and I didn't play the first Watch Dogs, but I actually thought that the trailer when I saw it at E3 was actually really compelling, and I hate that, like, I never want to judge a game by its trailers, particularly AAA games, because it's obviously it can be so easily manipulated to look so much better than it honestly is. But I think that excuse me. I think that this particular game, I think that they really spent a lot of time trying to work on the strengths of the first one and like really improve on the weaknesses. And everything I see here looks just like a really cool experience, kind of like almost like GTA 5 in the sense like it's a little bit sandboxy, but it's kind of a controlled sandbox. Like your options are still limited to mostly just like chaos and violence. And like I think that this presents like a more interesting set of opportunities in a large cityscape to just fuck with your environment than GTA 5 does. And I find that prospect exciting. Like I think that this is going to grow into a series that is actually very open world and probably lets you do some pretty cool stuff. And I don't know. My hopes are that this is an awesome game. And if it is, I'll probably end up picking it up. Maybe on a Steam sale, more likely than on release. But still, we'll probably end up picking it up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
to be fair, to get back on topic, it sounds like picking nits, but really it is true. If you're playing a game, especially one that touts itself for being hyper realistic or photorealistic or whatever, if you're going to claim it and you get really, really close to where the technology can take you, I'm more than happy to let it go at a pass. Like, I'll still play Oblivion. I'll still play Skyrim. I'll still play Fallout. Do people move and act like fucking robots? Totally. Do they act and function like human beings? Nope. The synths in Fallout 4 are more human than the human characters in actual Fallout games, or in that Fallout game. But the point I'm trying to make is, if a game's story is redeemable, I will totally ignore the fact that it's not fully photorealistic. But it still goes to reason that people that do work with the tools or work within the industry are going to see that and go, that takes my enjoyment straight away. I totally respect that. Yeah. It's the same reason why if I'm reading a book and I catch an error, I get pissed off because that should never have made it to print. Because I see that error and I think about that error and that's all I see. Right. So I can totally understand where it's coming from on that. But getting back to the game itself, like I said, this is one of those few times where the first game was hyped to the fucking moon. And then it came out and everybody was like, oh, that's it? This is the big deal? And now I feel like looking at all the press and looking at some of the reviews that are coming out already, I feel like Ubisoft may have, never thought I'd say this, I feel like Ubisoft has actually paid attention and they've not hyped it as much. I heard barely any hype for this game compared to Watch Dogs. And so a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's done really well. So,
although to be, just not to
please, I'm done.
They were definitely shoving Watch Dogs down our throats for like a month on the ads on Twitch and on YouTube. I definitely
Yes.
got like there was a period of time where it was just like all Watch Dogs. Maybe not a month. That's probably an exaggeration, but like maybe like 2
It was
weeks.
like a year. It was a year or 2 years.
No, I
in
mean sorry,
advance.
Watch Dogs 2 even. I'm talking about Watch Dogs
Oh,
2
yeah.
specifically.
True.
And maybe it was just my experience because you know how like you look at like one website one time and then suddenly every ad is for that website. But I was getting a shitload of Watch Dogs for a while on YouTube, on Twitch. It was like every damn ad was a Watch Dogs ad for a Watch Dogs 2. Again, specifically Watch Dogs 2.
Sure.
So I was starting to wonder if this was going to be the continuation of the hype train, but then it kind of just like evaporated, like for a while.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the thing is I feel like, and I again never thought I'd say this, but I feel like maybe Ubisoft is not known for listening to fans ever. Let's be honest. With the Assassin's Creed series, actually with any series, the Far Cry series for sure. They get it right sometimes, but they, like EA, is one of those companies that will never do right by the gaming public. No matter what they do, they will never, ever, ever do right. And that's because they've done a lot of shit in the past. But I really do feel like with this one, for everything that I'm hearing, all the complaints that I had about the first game being kind of boring, apparently that's not a thing now.
Yes.
The first game was so focused on the multiplayer aspect, or
Those are the
just
peas?
flat out.
Caitlin, you're hot micing.
Sorry.
It's fine. That's honestly probably more enjoyable than this game anyway. But the long and short is, I'm really hoping that this does not turn out to be like the first Watch Dogs. I would like a sequel that actually builds upon and improves a series instead of just be more of the same old shit.
Yeah.
You got to admit too, there's a pretty strange juxtaposition between like an elite like urban hacker, and in a guy who like wields an AK. Like he's the same guy. Like he can do all this kung fu shit or whatever, and like he can wield an AK. And he's got all these like mad driving skills, but he's also a hacker. I mean, this is like an extreme form of a modern Renaissance man we're talking about here.
Or Marty Stew, just the guy that can do everything,
right?
Without
That's right.
any problem. So
he's just very good at everything that he does as soon as he attempts it.
Yeah. So
just like me.
Oh, of course you are. Yes. Right.
I wish. The guy I am in my dreams.
Yeah. FNAF, do you have any thoughts on this? I know there's nothing to do with plumbers or turtles. So.
I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, I'm more interested in like the games that you can sit down and play and just have fun with it, not worry about like the nitpicks. Like, yeah, if there's some imperfections in the game where it's supposed to be high quality, it's supposed to be realistic, and you see that little thing like, why is the guy walking to a wall? I wouldn't do that. Just that kind of thing will take me out of the experience. I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm not interested. But with Mario and Sonic and things like that, you're a little bit more forgiving because they are cartoon. But once they get past the realistic people walking into walls, and it's smart enough to not do what I would do in real life, we're going to be in an amazing area of gaming. Once they get past that, it will be a long time before they get there. But
that's fair.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. Eli, any final thoughts? Because I think we're probably going to end on this one.
If I can get it for cheap, I might play this at some point, but I don't think I'd pay full price for it just because, honestly, they're showing a bunch of stuff that it's just character personality, which sounds like they're trying to sell it on it's not as bad as the first one. But that to me doesn't say that it's gonna be actually a good game.
But it's so edgy and counterculture. How could you not want to play it like everyone else does?
Yeah.
Whatever. If I find it for cheap,
in order to be different, you must comply.
If I find it for cheap, I'll get it. Otherwise, I don't care.
There's actually already people raging on Steam. Shocker, that one. Claiming SJW fodder, 90% of the characters are vegan. It's fucking San Francisco. 95% of San Francisco is probably going to have an agenda. Shut up Enjoy the game, guys. Come on.
Seriously, San Francisco is pretty much people like that.
Yeah,
They invented rice-a-roni.
uh,
Yeah, so the ad. Rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat.
Okay, just because it says the San Francisco treat doesn't mean it was made in San Francisco.
Well, obviously, we need to
Yo,
have
what up,
somebody
Purple Haze
research this.
1993? Thanks for the follow.
Yeah, nice.
Seriously.
But yeah, if you check out their Steam page at the top, it's just Social Justice Warrior and the Watch Dogs 2 Code of Conduct. So of course they're already getting the ban hammer out. Game's not even released yet.
You know, one thing I noticed though is like when the car sends out, like it shoots out the little hook rope thing to pull up the thing in the road to block the cop car behind it. I noticed that the rope doesn't look like an actual rope. It looks like pixels of white.
Dude, because he hacked the universe.
Yeah, he hacked the rope.
Apparently.
Dude,
But to
rope
me,
hack.
it's like, really?
It looked like Spider-Man to me.
Like if
He's
it
got
was
rope hacks.
8-bit Spider-Man, sure.
Hacks.
I
Yeah,
just
you
don't
never
understand
know.
that.
Well, maybe they're hacking. You know, they're just hacking the planet, man. Started in hackers, and now here we
Hack
are.
the
It's
planet.
the Turkish hack squad. They make rope now.
I missed that movie, by the way. That movie was awesome.
It was.
Sorry, which one?
Hackers.
Hackers.
Oh yeah.
With Angelina Jolie.
Well, think of it this way: just play the game on mute, but have the hackers soundtrack running. That's all you need.
Life
It was a
complete.
good soundtrack. Come on.
The soundtrack was decent, but that doesn't make up for this game being weird and just.
Well, the other option would have been telling people to hit themselves with a hammer, and I felt like that might have been too much.
You know you like telling people to hit themselves with a hammer.
This is entirely true.
It's
But
Like
last,
playing with a Virtual Boy.
this is
Exactly.
But Caitlin, any thoughts on this thing? On the pretty?
I did not play the first Watch Dogs because of how much of a disappointment it was to everybody. So I don't know. I don't know if it would really be down my alley. I know I really wanted to, but is this a PC game or is it another console exclusive? Because I don't own the console to play it anyway.
It's everything because Watch Dogs.
everything?
Watch Dogs
All
was
the
definitely
things.
released on Steam, and so this is definitely on Steam as well.
I think it could be worth playing. I mean, like I said, it is your typical AAA release, so of course it's going to be beautiful. But these games always look better than they might be. So you have to actually play it to give a valid analysis, in my opinion.
Do you notice how PC gamers have to fully wait 2 weeks longer than everyone else? For
That's
release?
fine. There are some games like the WWE 2K series. You have to wait a full year before you can actually play the PC release. So
Fucking assholes.
Batman.
no, that's
I don't know if the game you call Batman.
wait. Which one though? Which one are we talking about? Because
The one they had
Which
to,
one aren't we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Arkham Knight, I assume.
See, now, the Arkham Knight thing was funny because it did come out at the same time, but it got pulled from the Steam store like less than a week later.
It was a couple of days, actually. I think it was pulled off
Yeah.
the Steam store.
You're talking to like the two foremost experts, I think, on this issue.
Yeah, there's that. But, I honestly, I feel like I'm starting to see that Arkham Knight may have gotten a little more shit than it probably deserved. I feel like if anything else,
Okay.
Iron Galaxy Studios deserves most of the shit, but who really deserves it is fucking Warner Brothers.
Okay,
Matt.
but
Yeah.
Arkham Knight, the way it was released, it should not have been released like that. That was the issue.
No. That is definitely the issue, but it also
No,
probably shouldn't have been farmed
People
out.
couldn't even run the fucking game. So
I could
like,
run it, just not well. I mean, I got 2 frames a second when the Batmobile would come on screen.
No,
That's
seriously,
bad.
like
That's fucking
people
bad.
who were trying to play the game could not realistically play the game, and it was like 90% of the people who had paid for it. They shouldn't have been able to download it at that point because the company should have done something to fix the problems before they send it out to people.
Yeah,
You
but
mean
see,
like a
that's-
QA process or something?
No, they don't have any of those. It's Warner Brothers, goddammit.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, it was just another tale as old as time. We're gonna release the console version on X date. Fuck the PC gamers because they're only a sliver of our market anyway. Most of them will pirate it, so who cares? It just goes to show that if you only play on PC, you're probably gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just like how NetherRealm Studios, my other axe to grind, didn't bother to release all the DLC until just this year. Meanwhile, everybody else had it like a year ahead of time. Why? I don't know. Don't know.
Okay,
Even
Mortal
after
Kombat. Mortal Kombat has always been a console game.
But Ed Boon was actually interviewed and said, "No, this is not just going to be a console port. You fucking liar."
Okay,
And it was.
Wait a minute. Well, wasn't Mortal Kombat always an arcade game to start with?
Always. But we also. But the thing is, it was such. Let's see. The game they did before that. It wasn't specifically Mortal Kombat. I'm talking about Mortal Kombat X or 10 or X or however you want to call it. That one was the big issue with that is that there were frame rate drops. There were just everything that could go wrong with a game probably did on its release. But the biggest issue is that there was straight out recording of Ed Boon saying, "No, this is not just going to be a lazy, shoddy port." Had he not said that, probably people wouldn't have gotten so pissed off when it was shown to be a lazy, shoddy port. And then the console version of Mortal Kombat X got all the DLC, and all the people that bought the season pass were basically told, "Well, maybe we're gonna release it all."
What happened
That
with
was a
Mortal
crop.
Kombat X, to my understanding, was essentially that after a year, they stopped releasing any more of the DLC to PC. So technically, they could say that the season pass covered the full season of content to Mortal Kombat X. But after that, they went, "Fuck it, it's too difficult to do stuff for PC. We're just doing console."
Yeah, and so it's one thing to say. It's one thing to release a version of the game that doesn't have everything, but if you're going to be selling DLC and you're going to be selling a season pass, do not shortchange. It's really not a good idea to shortchange one segment of the market just because you don't feel like it. And that's kind of how it came across. And I think that's the major issue everybody that could still think had. Most people will rage just to rage. So, who knows? But we're going to end on that note. God help us all. President-elect Trump. I still am not used to saying that phrase, but it is a thing that has happened. It is a thing that has happened. Happen.
You guys, just be safe out there. I hear a lot of the protesting still happening, so just be safe.
Now, the part that scares me is that there are protests, and there are counter-protests where people are bringing assault rifles.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem, isn't it? Yeah.
A little bit.
There's
no reason you should come with a fucking gun to kill people.
Yeah. Although I will say that anybody that says that all the protests are totally peaceful, that's definitely not true. Portland has had a couple of not so peaceful ones, but somebody got shot on a bridge, and that stopped it real fucking quick. So,
that'll stop a bridge.
Well, it'll stop the bridge, yeah. No, one person got shot by a 14-year-old.
Oh, God.
Yep.
That was great. And obviously the protests have kind of, petered out since then. I don't even know if the fella that was shot because he was protesting. It might have been he was there. So we'll find out more about that. Yeah. But it obviously was enough to stop people from going out. But I still hear sirens every once in a while, so I presume there are still people sitting all over the place. So there's that.
Yep.
Yeah. But that is the show for tonight. Let's get through the shillin', if we will. Kellogg, let's start with you.
All right. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. I actually normally, I thankfully got to move my slot, which is normally at 11:30 a.m. to 1. So ideally, I'll have a few more viewers and get those awesome 10 a.m. Twitch viewers on the West Coast. You know you're out there. I'll be playing Metroid Other M, continuing it. I think I'm still like a third. I've really been just slogging my way through that game. I do enjoy it, but it's definitely not like a short game. I think it's going to take me at least like 30 hours to finish. And I'd say maybe a third of the way through it. So I'll be continuing with that tomorrow. And I'll plug Jody's World as well. She'll be on tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what game she's playing. Hopefully Rob can toss in the chat for us. Might be a continuation of Stardew Valley. I know she's been playing a number of different games. And then we got Retro Haven again with Rob at 9 p.m. tomorrow. He's been playing Final Fantasy Tactics for the PlayStation 1. That's a really great game, man. He made a really pretty layout for that as well. So I really enjoy watching Rob play those RPGs particularly. There's just something really zen about it. I don't know why. And he's just very good at like going through the motion. Well, he's been dying a lot at Final Fantasy Tactics recently, but normally he's very good about going through the motions and progressing at a nice fair clip, so you can really enjoy the story too. Yeah, I think after that is Caitlin, so I'll hand that over to you, Caitlin, for your Thursday show.
Alrighty, so Thursday is a marathon. We are starting with Pokemon at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Then we're moving to Monster Hunter at 3 p.m. and going until 5. So we're going to do a bunch of hours of Pokemon. We're going to do 2 hours of Monster Hunter. And then we're going to do 4 hours of Mario Kart. Because
oh shit,
you can never have enough Mario Kart.
4 hours of Mario Kart.
Damn. How many hackers do you get tomorrow?
I hope all of them.
Every Thursday we do 4 hours of Mario Kart. That is a guarantee. Unless
I'm gonna make a point of being
is an asshole.
I'm going to make a point of seeing how many hackers she winds up with tomorrow.
I hope all of them, because they're great.
all the hackers.
All right,
No,
and then,
they're all waiting for Watch Dogs 2 to be released. It's okay.
So Friday we have Pokemon releasing, and I will be streaming. As soon as I get my fingers on that game, I will be live tweeting my journey to GameStop to get the game.
Yes.
So you can check it out at my little Twitter sign, which is K_ENDRIX and on Twitter. And then I will play it. I am thinking 12 because GameStop here doesn't open till 10. But check sooner than 12 Eastern because I will be like racing back to my house to open it and play it on stream.
Nice.
So,
it's very exciting, and we'll probably be among the first to be streaming that game because
everybody else is doing the midnight release, Chris, and I just
but not many of those people have capture cards now, do they?
Well, a lot of them do. Like
some do,
my
but
favorite streamers do.
I would not be surprised if you were among the first like 100 people ever to have streamed that game on Twitch.
She won't even make it home. She'll just start streaming from like a Starbucks or something and screaming.
I won't be bringing my computer to Starbucks. That's just weird.
Do it with your phone.
Imagine how the staff would stare at me. That'd be freaking crazy.
Hey Eli, what's Thursday night?
Thursday night is the game show.
We ran out of shows.
What time
we didn't. We got plenty more shows to go.
What time is it at?
It is at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. Well, that's where you come in and you play games against us here on TorchFork Mob.
Is it at 6:30 or is it at
6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern? Like I said,
I thought it was at 6.
Yeah, well, the schedule's been wrong by half an hour.
So have we, because we've always been starting at 6.
6, yes, 6. 6. Hey, I've had a lot to drink.
The
okay,
ultimate contrarian of the.
Hey,
I've had a lot to drink.
Off. It's just funny to me that like you were off by just half an hour. I mean, it wasn't like a major, but usually that'd be like an hour, 3 hour mistake. But no, just half an hour.
I have had a lot to drink.
So what do we do on the game show?
We play games against the audience. If an audience member wins a game against us, not one of our people, somebody else wins a game against us, then they get a free game key out of it. I am also, for the time being, doing a bunch of extra giveaways on regular raffle for people, including our people, because I need to clear a bunch of fucking games out of my list because of weird shit with some of the game keys being bad.
Oh, man.
I want to get those keys out of my fucking list because I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'm moving to a different way of handling the game keys in order to avoid that problem. So, every Thursday night game show, there's going to be a bunch of fucking giveaways for the time being, where you can get like 3 or 4 games easy just by showing up and typing in the command to enter the raffle. Because a lot of the games I have multiple keys for. So it's fucking easy to get a game key out of it. Show up if you want free games.
That's pretty much how it comes down to it. But not just show up. You can't just hang out in the chat.
Well, you got to enter the command or you got to play a game.
Yeah, you have to actually be there because we've had instances which really piss me off where someone has won a game and they've left. They just left.
They just left?
Yeah, they just left.
Oh, they're lost.
Right? Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. But that is the show for tonight. Join us every friggin' Tuesday, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. Did I get my time right? I did.
Maybe we should FNAF a chance to pimp his channel
Oh,
too.
that's right! FNAF does something as well. I totally fucking forgot FNAF. Go!
Me. Go. Okay, so I'm probably going to do something Friday night. I don't really have a particular theme in mind just yet. I'm probably going to do some Double Dragon 2. Probably the old school Nintendo games. Maybe I should salute the classic set that just came out that people are scalping for some reason by playing all the original games, like the actual cartridges, because that's all you need. I don't know. I'm up for suggestions, so if you TorchFork Mobians have any ideas, please let me know. And I'm more than happy to play them.
I regret the fact that you didn't call them TorchFork Moblins, really.
Oh my god, the Moblins!
And also, FNAF's channel is twitch.tv/Nintendo Champion.
Yes. Thank you.
I think he's going to have to revoke that card for not mentioning the Moblins now.
Moblins.
But anyway, that is the show for tonight. My pitching/whoring is essentially 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. It is more of this thing. You can check out the full schedule when we feel like updating it, which we generally do, I promise, by going to torchforkmob.com, or you can just, sit and camp on the twitch.tv TorchForkMob channel, which you're on right now. So you could just stay here until tomorrow.
Don't leave.
You could just stay here the whole time.
Don't leave ever.
Guarantee you'll always see the show.
You.
Yeah, but that is the show for tonight. Good night, everybody. Try and sleep off the hangover.